to the tower. Every 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Hey guys, I am a minute early. That's okay. I want to welcome you guys to the Monday podcast. We are coming in off of a very active weekend, and I'm just gonna turn the music off for today. But yeah, we are coming off of a very active weekend. We had a couple really awesome Twitter Spaces today, or Friday and Sunday, talking about uh, GameStop and some broad market. Just a teensy bit. I was also learning. I've read a lot of GME data, but um, I got a good like blast of information this weekend. But shout out to the guys to, doing that for us and everything and really getting the community to, embrace GameStop because everyone that knows BullHouse, we do everything. We wanna know all the information there is to know about AMC, GameStop, Meta, Clove, I don't know, all the meme stocks, I guess. Plus, your commodities and crypto and real estate and what is to come, right? Like that's the key here. And the more information we get, the more information we can gather from a lot of different people and different perspectives because, not everybody knows everything on one subject. The better chance we have of understanding what's going to happen, what's to come, and how to prepare for it, right? Um, the only thing I have for myself is that I personally, in my own deep, funny feelings here, which you guys know is really funny for me to have when it comes to the stock market, because I tell everyone to keep the feelings out of it. Um, just be kind to one another, right? I cannot express that enough. Be kind. Everybody has their own needs, wants, desires in the stock market. Not all of us are going to be all in AMC or all in GameStop or split between the two or even in the stock market in general. And it's disheartening, and I see it from all walks. It's not just one side or the other. It's not, retail or corporate. It's everybody. Everybody does it. Everybody's guilty of it. And that's kind of the fun thing I've gotten to do lately, sitting back some, is just observe. Being observant of people's reactions and emotions and thoughts and feelings about a different investment than theirs or different opinions than theirs is that you know no one no one particular thing is the correct thing. There's a play in so many different investments at this point, whether it's different cryptos, whether it's getting into solid commodities, whether it's getting into land and real estate. Like there's a lot of different plays that we can do. And we need to stop having this mentality that what we're in personally is the only thing that everybody else should be in, right? And that comes from somebody that watches the entire market. That comes from someone that's trying to keep tabs on everything that's going on around here. So um, just be kind to one another. You don't know. Maybe somebody likes one thing other than the other, or someone doesn't know enough about another investment to really put their hard-earned money into it, because not everybody has tens of thousands of dollars just to throw into the stock market. Like that's, the typical person lives paycheck to paycheck, so we can't sit there and belittle people for their investments, right? So that's my only piece that I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, for today, we are going to be covering a few various topics. I've got Citadel Air in here, Lady Love Stonks. I've Existent down in the bottom if he's going to be able to come on up, and I've opened up my Discord as an open mic tonight once we're done talking about the topic. So if you're in the Discord and you have something that you want to talk about, you are more than free to come up and discuss it. But we are going to run through these topics that a lot of us have. And then my questions in YouTube, I will definitely cover those after I'm done with my little spiel. Cool? So yeah, I am super excited about today. The biggest topic I have is the extension. Okay, so everyone knows that I have been following real estate and what goes on and the evictions and foreclosures, because this is something that's going to be huge in our economy. Um, and uh, I'm watching this very carefully because of you know, the implications that this will have on the economy because of the, you know, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars that people may be behind. I mean, it's not always like necessarily like people don't have the money. Like we've had people say like they have clients that are sitting on money for whatever reason. I don't know. If you're sitting on money, I don't know why you wouldn't invest it and try to gain more money if you're just holding on to it. Like that doesn't make sense. But um, I'm really looking at this and now to see that Biden has allowed the CDC to extend the um, forbearances till October. Although there is a Supreme Court ruling saying that the CDC cannot do this. This is I'm gonna open this one up to Citadel Air and Existent. Maybe they can touch on it a little bit more and see what they have to think. But the last I'd heard is that the CDC couldn't do this according to our Supreme Court. Do you guys have anything?
Not really. That's kind of where I left it. Officially, according to legal terms, based on what the Supreme Court said, is they can't do it. But the government does a lot of things they're probably not always supposed to do. So I don't know if we should be expecting more guidance or how it's really going to apply in the real world.
That was also my understanding. However, that being said, I'm not sure if that ruling was challenged because there's some question as to whether the CDC has ultimate control over a public health emergency where they can supersede kind of like taking executive action or an executive order from like the president per se. But again, I'm not an attorney or a legal scholar, but that's the brief synopsis I kind of heard. I think we're just in a holding pattern where the left hand doesn't quite agree or know what the right hand is doing, in my opinion.
Seems to be the case with a lot of our stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
Yeah.
the SEC
Welcome
doesn't.
to the welcome to the U.S. government. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
If anybody that doesn't live in the U.S., welcome to our world. No one knows what the hell's going on, and we're left to kind of figure it out and hope to God we're following the law. Um, so yeah, I did find I'm still diving into this, so I'm very hesitant to say this because this could get slightly tinfoily. So there's my warning again, tinfoily. But I have to look into this. But I have started looking into. Have you guys been reading about the infrastructure bill that they're trying to pass, or they tried to pass this weekend that they're still debating?
It's supposed to be going to a vote, I think, at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Have you guys heard anything about this 2,600 page bill?
I haven't heard enough that I would be willing to speak about it.
Oh no. Okay, so there's one. Again, I have to really dive into this, and I have to really. But I'm putting this out here as just a disclaimer that it is a possibility that I've been reading and hearing some rumbles of a snippet in there somewhere that we can't challenge the CDC. Like it'd be illegal to actually like it'd be her like slander or something about going against what the CDC says. So, and this pertains to like lockdowns and all of that. Like it would be a very bad thing. So, like I said, that's all I'm going to kind of say about it. But if that becomes the case, that creates the ability for the CDC to actually implement these things and going around the Supreme Court ruling, from my understanding. And that becomes very interesting because as it sits right now, to implement any more forbearances or anything like that, or like things that involve the populace, we have to have it as, Congress. We have to have Senate and House voting, at least one or the other saying, yes, this is okay. And since they did not say that, Biden went to, the Senate and House and said, hey, we need to extend this forbearance. That's when he said, okay, well, the CDC is now saying this. So this is where I'm really trying to figure it out, because this is either, and we know that there's landlords that are now suing because of this whole thing, because, well, face it, they um haven't been paid. Some of them haven't been paid in a year and a half. And I am not dogging anybody that hasn't been able to pay their rent, because, God, this has been a terrible, terrible situation for a lot of people. And that is, but at the end of the day, we have to figure out how to help tenants and the landlords, right? Like, there has to be something that gives. And, in the States, we've gotten 3, 4 stimulus checks, maybe, and they keep shutting things down and doing things that makes it very hard to run our economy. So I don't know. Like, I'm very weary of them possibly doing another shutdown. That's something I keep saying, is like, shutdown's coming, or something. We're going to be locked back down, and you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm sorry, like, our economy can't take it. Like, I don't know how else we, survive um, economically with another shutdown. And, we saw what happened March of last year. Our economy tanked. And, I mean, granted, it bounced back somehow. I'm not quite sure when you print that much money, but it worked in a sense, slightly, at least on paper. But I don't know. It's something to keep our eyes on, guys. Is what I that's kind of my little homework assignment for everybody, is kind of see what's in this infrastructure bill. Like, we need to start taking it upon ourselves to. I know, 2,600 pages seems daunting, but we've got to start figuring out what the government's passing and what's in our best interest, and see what's going on, because it's going to start affecting us in a big way, right? I mean, I think maybe everyone can agree with that we need to start doing that. So that's kind of my big thing. And then I just saw that Janet Yellen is under some fires. I'm sure Citadel Air existed, or lady could probably laugh or giggle about this one, but that she's under fire for taking bribes from, like, Citadel and, was it Citibank or someone? So yeah, I mean, that's always the fun one, because she's also the one that called out, needing to fix our, get our debt ceiling increased, because, they still haven't done that, guys. I've not seen anything about them raising our debt ceiling or passing it off or anything like that, suspending it, which is terrible, because our Treasury, Federal Reserve, and everyone's going to have to start figuring out how to pay our debts, and they don't have enough money. And, and if we're looking for a moass, they are also the backup for the moass, so I don't exactly know how existent. You can go.
I was just saying, one of the things to keep in mind there is that when they don't lift the debt ceiling, it's non-essential services that stop being paid for. And so, what the government calls non-essential versus essential sometimes can be a bit skewed. But I mean, normal, general, essential funding continues. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is when they, if they don't lift the cap and they're shutting down the government, it's still affecting a whole bunch of people that have government jobs and some of the benefits and things that are involved, but it is non-essential services.
Yeah, it's actually, that's Tyler actually he was working with Rolls-Royce as a junior drafter. His contracts were all, government based, and in one of the shutdowns, they let him go. Couldn't. I mean, he just had nothing. He had no work, and so yeah, it's bad. Like, it's contractors. It's, like you said, non-essential, except for when you have, government contracts with military stuff. It's one of those funny things that, you would think that's essential, but who's to say anymore? But I don't know. Like, it's because from my readings and my understandings, we've never defaulted on our nation's debt. Correct? Like, that's never happened.
Not that I'm aware of, and I don't think we ever will. They'll keep making things happen to make sure we don't, unless there's a massive collapse, and then we're all going to get looped into this thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. All right, so I do have, let's see, Skinto. My only question: does anyone think that Webull shows me shares, but Webull never actually purchased my shares? My TDA and Fidelity shares show on Saytech, but not Webull. All accounts are connected. Um,
I don't follow the question. Are they asking, are they saying that they're through? I know, like when I had Fidelity before switching to Vanguard, I could see my other accounts or link my other accounts and see balances and positions. Is that what they're inquiring? Like when they're on Fidelity, they're linked to Webull and they don't see positions?
they're linking it to Saytech. They're
I'm
show.
not sure what that is.
I don't know what
I'm
that is
sorry.
either. But I mean, you have shares, or at least IOUs in some case. So you should be able to see those. So I'm not sure why that would not be showing on any kind of linkage. If your Fidelity and TD Ameritrade are showing, then it should show. But I'll copy and paste that. I'm gonna save that question and I will try to find an answer for you on that.
The easiest way to make Webull produce, even if they're IOUs, is to initiate a transfer out to Fidelity, because they're not Fidelity is not going to accept the IOU from Webull/Apex Clearing. It may take longer for the transfer to go through, but you will see you actually see the shares in your Fidelity, because they're not, from what I've heard, and same thing with Vanguard, they're not accepting the IOUs from Webull and Robinhoods of the world.
And Chef Hill says, my understanding is that Webull wasn't a supported broker with Stay. So yeah, that would be my only other guess, is that they weren't supported. Thank you, Chef. Let's see, I've seen the diverseness and hatred coming from GME towards AMC. They failed to understand that most hold shares of both companies. Hey, Antimatter. But yeah, oh, hold on, Auntie. Yeah, I will say, like, I've actually seen it both. Sadly, because I am so immersed in both groups, it does come from both. Sadly, I think the GME group is a little bit more outward about it. I don't want to say it like that, but that's about the only way I can say it. And like I've said, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but we gotta, apes help apes, right? And that's my big push to helping the GME apes get out a voice on Twitter, because it is AMC. Twitter is mainly AMC. So that's my big push. That was my big push to helping them. King Diamond Hands, I helped him get his space calls. So it's really cool. I was really cool to see him be able to get that today. And so he'll be able to host different space calls now for GME, which will be completely amazing. So yeah, I don't know, but I do see it from both sides. I see the diverseness from both sides, which is, it doesn't need to be happening. Let's see, thanks for the comment, but at this point I am so annoyed that I might dump all of my GME shares and put in all profits to AMC. No one else to blame but them. Other apes may do the same. I mean, that's Karen, I will never say one way or another. You guys, and this is what I was saying before we started our podcast. For BullHouse, you guys do what you feel you need to do, and people might tell me I'm a shill, or I don't know anymore. I've gotten called so many things lately, but do what you feel. This is, at the end of the day, you're on your own personal journey through this. Yes, buy and hold if you can. If you feel that connection to the communities and the movements and everything, do what you feel like you should do. And I hope no one ever tells anybody what they should do. Like that is very wrong on a lot of levels. But if at the end of the day, you are an investor into a company. So, if you feel like GameStop is a solid investment, not just for the moass, guys, yes, I believe the moass is going to happen. This is not what I'm saying. The moass, I fully 100% believe will happen. These stocks are shorted. Half the market's shorted. There's many plays out there, some bigger than others. There's my disclaimer on that. But at the end of the day, you're not investing into the community. You're not investing into people. You're not investing into CEOs. This goes for any stock out there. You're investing into the company, what you believe, what they have the potential to do. So if you take out the moass, the short squeeze, whatever, if you take that out, are you going to be able to make money on your investment? Do you believe that the company itself will be a great investment where you can get a solid return back when, if, however you decide to sell? Whether it's in 6 months, whether it's in 5 years, whether it's in when you retire, whatever it is. That's what you should be looking at, not the community that is backing a stock, right? Because they don't speak for the company. You know, GameStop has some great things going for it. You know, they're trying to rebrand themselves. They're trying to reinvent themselves, essentially. You know, going into computers, gaming computers, and cloud base. And you know, Brent's brought up this little Pokemon thing, which I think is completely amazing. But then you also have AMC, who's, you know, they had a great earnings report today, and I did finally get to read through the highlights that, who was it? Robotica had posted the highlights from the earnings call because I wasn't able to listen to it today. So I do appreciate that. But, you know, they have some really cool things going for them. You know, they're hosting, you know, sporting events. They're showing sporting events in their theaters, which I think is really cool. And so when you guys consider, you know, oh, I'm going to sell because the GME apes or the AMC apes, they're just mean people. Think about your investment. That's what you're in the stock market for. That's what you're looking for, right? So that's my 2 cents on that. But again, do what you feel like you need to do. This is all on your own personal adventure. Antimatter, yes, you wanted to say something?
Yes, it was related to the comment or the question around Webull. I just wanted to put it out there. It sounded to me like the person was asking if Webull engages in contract for difference. Similar to the IOUs, but I think that may have been what the question was getting at.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't. That's a good thing. Do you know if they do or?
So I don't. I just wanted to put out to the group. I believe that's what the term is called, contract for difference. So if anyone wants to like research that, the person who asked the question maybe could do some research themselves. But yeah, I think it's called contract for difference when you're essentially given IOUs whenever you buy and then sell, and you're paid out the difference essentially.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I'm gonna write that down too. Thank you, Antimatter. I really appreciate that. Yeah, no. Sorry, guys. I'm taking care of something. But yeah, anyway, I am going, let's see. Yes, and our government is definitely on recess, but they're still trying to vote. I saw that. I apologize, guys, for the chat. Like that's unnecessary. If we don't do that. Yes, they're supposed to be on a 6-week recess, and that is not good. Like they were like, oh hey, we need to do this stuff, but sorry. But yeah, they wanted to they were pushing so hard to get the infrastructure done and everything, and then they didn't do anything for the, average person. So I don't know. Like it's just a weird thing that I'm seeing with that they're not fully concerned with what's going on. Like we see the rumblings of another shutdown and everything, but they're not addressing what they'll do for the average person if they have to do that. I think
As a non sequitur, I would just want to put out there that it was absolutely coincidental that last week I tweeted out about Janet Yellen's complimentary flights on Citadel Air, and by no way no way did Citadel Air bribe Janet Yellen. It was merely a coincidence that this has come out now, not related to my tweet a week ago. I was advised to announce per council.
Yeah. I cannot believe. Okay, I can. I'm not gonna act surprised. Like, it's a. It's baffling though, right? Like, how many officials do you think have done that, Citadel? Oh, and he's gone. Yeah, I just don't understand. Wombat, I saw your message about Dogemon.
Yeah, actually, I didn't really want to talk about that. Actually, I was more curious because I'm new here. What is Citadel Air? What is his background? What is I mean, what's his deal? What's his story?
My apologies, my connection dropped. How many have I personally bribed? I mean, I'm being advised that the term was not bribe, but I'll have to defer to counsel. But Kenna, you're more than welcome to encapsulate exactly what it is I do here.
Oh gosh. So yeah, Wombat. Okay, so for everyone that is on YouTube and down in our Discord that doesn't know, Citadel Air is a very big player for our staff. He actually, here's our big announcement. He was recently just bumped up to our senior staff role. He is a wealth of knowledge. He is the funniest, I hate to say it this way, the funniest troll on Twitter when it comes to Citadel. He's an ally, Wombat. He's not anyone for the hedge funds. um, oh, good grief. So yeah, he is a very important person for our team here and what we're trying to do. And I'm sorry, Citadel, you're gonna have to take over for a sec.
No worries. I started this account, I don't know, May maybe, because I realized I couldn't say half of the things that I actually wanted to say under my own personal Twitter account with any kind of professional blowback, which would be no bueno. And then I was watching the other parody accounts get banned left and right, even though they were legitimate parody accounts and stated that they were not really Kenneth Griffin and they're a parody or they're his mayonnaise or whatnot. So before I opened my account, I formed a corporation called Citadel Air that is registered, so I own the name. And then I formed the account so that I would not be removed from any social media platform through Citadel Advisors, Citadel Securities. I've had 2 issues with Twitter. I provided them with documentation showing that I own the name, and they reinstated my account despite the complaints from Citadel Securities. My background is I have a business and finance background. I then went back into afterwards to medical school, so I am in the medical sphere. I'm in research, specifically human intelligence and psychology and analytics. I come from a family of CPAs and MBAs, so it's kind of in the blood, unfortunately. And for what it's worth, I went to college with DFV. He was 2 years behind me in undergrad. So just small world.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to call you out in any way, shape, or form. I heard, I think, the last comment before you got disconnected there, and I'm like, whoa, what did you just say? No, but the real reason I raised my hand to jump in here as a speaker was kind of you were talking about the Congress going on recess, and there being all these weird disconnects about like what's going on with the eviction moratorium, what's going on with the debt ceiling. Why is nothing happening? Why is everyone just going on vacation and just kind of waiting for the next? Sorry, my cat continues to step on my keyboard. I apologize. Um, Continues to just keep kicking the can down the road, and it was interesting. And I don't want to get into politics about this because I really don't care. Left, right, center, whatever the hell you are, I think everyone's corrupt. As soon as they went on recess, Nancy Pelosi tweeted out that the whole eviction moratorium, that wasn't their fault. That the CDC should have done something about that. But the Supreme Court had already ruled that the CDC is not supposed to be able to do anything about this. This is something that Congress needs to vote on. So I just wanted to reiterate, yeah, everything's all screwed up. No one, even in our own government, seems to know what's going on and who is supposed to declare what. Now, I've seen some things, and I haven't read up about what's going on now, but they seem to have sorted that out in some respect. And I'm hoping there's someone in here who can speak more intelligently on that than I can, because I just haven't read into it. I've been trying to keep out of the whole political sphere because you get too immersed in that. I got sucked into that earlier this year, and it takes up more time than reading about AMC and GameStop on Reddit. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for having me up here.
Anytime, Wombat. Wombat, actually, I'm gonna fill you in on a funny little thing with Citadel Air. So this is how brilliant he is. And for those that don't know in YouTube, so he's a mastermind in his own right with all of his different successes in his life. But before he even created Citadel Air, the personality you guys know, he actually went and registered the name Citadel Air, knowing that he would get some backlash from Citadel. And so registered it and has it all owned to him legally, the name. And they came after him, like he thought, once he started posting on Twitter and all these other troll things about them and whatnot. Came after him, and he provided all the legal documentation and said, no, I own the name, I don't have to change it, and there was nothing they could do. It was the most brilliant and the funniest thing I've ever heard, but I was like, this person, I need to be on my team, because if you can think that far forward, it's amazing.
I appreciate that. No, and I'm, the memes and trolls that I make, or the jokes are not defamatory or libelous in nature. They're just more of poking fun, as if from the perspective of the flight deck of the actual Citadel Air pilot at times. So it's half parody, but also half dispersing information to put out FUD fires, if you will.
And it could have been genius, or he could have just been flying for Citadel before all this started.
Oh, stop it, existing.
Insert Dave Chappelle, I plead the fifth meme here.
So yeah, thanks, Wombat, for all the great question. Yeah, sorry guys. Oh my goodness, I've never had that happen in my chat before for YouTube, so I appreciate it. So Tampa Kurt is now our first mod on YouTube. So I appreciate your help getting that taken care of. I really do. Yay, we have our first mod. And actually,
do we have invading bots now? Forgive me, I'm walking the dog, so I'm not seeing the channel.
oh yeah, we had a couple trolls. Literally, name was Troll. So okay. I mean, Skinto is telling you to go get your drone license. I think you have that, don't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Affirmative. Back when the FAA first made a requirement, it was, I think, the best $5 I ever spent on a government licensure.
Wow, it was only $5 when you did it. Like, jeez.
When they first rolled it out, it was like $5 registration and like no questions asked, and you printed it out on your inkjet printer. It was fantastic.
That is so funny. It like my husband has his drone license, and like he had to go take a class, take a test, and do all this other stuff, and has to renew it in like January or something like that.
I don't know if I'm grandfathered. I should probably look. But I suspect I'll probably hit a wall of when there's renewal. But this is when the drones first came out, and they had those scares at the airports because those hooligans out in at
Oh
Heathrow
gosh.
were flying the drones, and
Yeah.
they caused like 2 days worth of delays at Heathrow. So that's when they started the program, and I just happened to hop on board early and be like, "Sweet, it's $5 or whatever." Like, why would I not do this? And it was like the easiest thing ever. But I suspect I'll have to hit not a I'll call it a paywall at some point if I have to renew. I'm not sure if it's grandfathered. I have to look into it.
That would, yeah. I don't know what it would be for him to renew it. But guys, so and just so you guys know, to fly a drone, you don't have to have a license. It's just good to have, and it allows, yeah, if you want to make money off of it, you have to have a license. But you don't have to have one to actually like fly. Just so you guys know. So yeah. Anyway.
There was some excellent drone footage released of a certain corporate headquarters in Chicago that I've disseminated over Twitter a couple of times, which I may do later again tonight. If anyone wants to rewatch those clips, I'll be happy to post. It's just picture Conway Yen saying, "What doing?" and 45 seconds of just excellent drone footage.
I remember when that got released, and we weren't even like following each other yet.
You didn't take the footage of the guy pacing back and forth, did you?
Negative. I can't take credit for that. I just happened to capture all of the different bits and pieces that were posted because it was all piecemealed all over Reddit and Twitter and other forums, and I just kind of compiled the entire 3-ish minutes into different snippets, and that's kind of my go-to de facto, oh my god, the world's ending. That and my Kenny G welcomes you to Friday morning jam.
So I think I'll take this moment. Does everybody in the community want a special playlist of Citadel Air's funny little videos he makes? Like he makes like a lot of parody videos. We can make a playlist for you guys so you can go and watch them if he's willing to upload them.
Yeah, I have hundreds. If people want them, I'll throw them up on your channel. If people actually want them, there's like a repository on my hard drive of ones I just recycle and put out every now and then. But
I mean, it's your channel too now. I mean,
sure, if people are interested, if people are interested, by all means. I try to get the Friday jam out before market opens because but yeah, if people are interested, I'll throw it up on the under the BullHouse, the Citadel Dropdown channel.
So Citadel, I'm so sorry I got kicked out. But I have a special request from you.
Fire away.
I would love like the best of, like a video of like a best of the content and videos that you came out with.
I'm absolutely game for that. Maybe I can compile.
Only if you have time, but that would be kind of fun to do.
Yeah, but I'll go see if I can compile this weekend, or at least make some selections and then render them. But you do realize that a good chunk of them are going to be featuring you, right?
No.
There's quite a few of those videos.
Happy not.
Be careful what you wish for.
Oh my.
That's great. That is so great. All right, let me see if there's anything.
But if there are any special requests, please feel free to DM me on Twitter or through the Discord server, and I will try to find the corresponding video clip and work some magic, assuming it's not offensive, because I do catch the occasional shadow ban from Twitter when someone reports something's inappropriate until Twitter goes in and says it's not appropriate, et cetera, et cetera.
So Citadel Air, Star Warrior is asking how you register your name, like how to register a name.
I formed the actual Citadel Air LLC as a corporation, as a foreign corporation, and then registered it internationally, and then registered as a foreign corporation doing business in the state where I reside, which that's as far as I'll say. And there's a trademark file pending on the name Citadel. Patenting type of deal. And then conveniently, the citadelair.com domain name was available, so I own that. So there'll be some interesting stuff on the website coming soon in the next week or two or month. You can just go register a domain name and then do a proxy or private registration, just like I have my LLC formed.
That's just so brilliant that you even thought to do all of that. That is just ridiculous.
I just was seeing the direction of Coke Kramer got banned 3 times, and he had a lot of effort and cool stuff put in, and I was not going to put in effort, to be arbitrarily banned and then have to start all over from scratch. So I was like, I'll just insulate myself, kind of like I would with, a holding company for investments. Or hostile takeover or something. I don't know.
For sure. Okay, so does anybody up here, Existent, Citadel, Anti, anyone, have any market information that you can think to share at this very moment?
Insider trading? Is that what we're talking about?
No! Damn you! We don't.
I like the hint there, but no, I don't.
God damn it!
No, me neither. I will step down.
All right, thanks, Andy Manrick, for coming up here.
Let me just get Kringle in here real quick. We'll see what he has to say.
The only thing I saw today, and I couldn't sit on Reddit all day like I normally do, was someone, and correct me if I'm wrong, another company has introduced a dividend in the form of a cryptocurrency. Was that actually true?
I was out of the loop at work most of the afternoon, so I'm not familiar. But if that's true, I would love to learn more.
Wait, who said they were going to offer?
I can speak on that a little bit. I don't know if this is the same story he's thinking of or not, but I did see where AMC stated that they will start accepting cryptocurrency for AMC tickets and, purchases and things like that. Not a dividend per se, but I guess you could consider it a dividend if you like spending cryptocurrency. Adam Aaron said they're going to be taking it for payment.
I saw a note that said that they will be ready to take it by the end of the year. Did they actually commit to planning to accept crypto by the end of the year?
Actually, I think I saw a date that was prior to the beginning of the year or to end of this year, but I was just sort of skimming over it. That's the only thing I'm connecting is for a dividend conversation that you might be relating to. Other than that, no, I don't have any other dividend information that I've heard about.
Which company are we talking about, guys?
AMC.
Just AMC. Okay.
Yeah, what I was referring to, and I'm trying to find it right now because I apologize because I looked at this early in the morning, like when I first got up, and that's usually like when the worst possible posts on Superstonk come up, and they're usually debunked by like noon, and I haven't had a chance to really look at it. But there was a company, I don't know who it was, who apparently has already started offering a crypto dividend, and of course, now that I talk about it, I can't find anything. So just give me a second. I'll see if I can dig it up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Indeed, welcome up.
Houston Wade today had a video, and he listed the 2 companies that did the NFTs. One of them is Black Dragon, and the other one is R as in Randy, V as in Victor, Biological. I haven't done any research on them, but those are the 2 companies did NFTs.
Yes, the second one's the one I recognized.
Skintos and AMC no dividends till at least 2022. Bitcoin acceptance by end of 2021.
Does anyone recall the ticker on those two? Because I did some early morning trading on, I think, one of those, and I was wondering what the catalyst was when I was scalping away.
Nope. I have no idea.
It could have been unrelated, but one of those names sounded like one of the ones that had like crazy volume around like 4:30 this morning that I started trading on, but I didn't know it was crypto related, or even if it's the same one.
Hi everyone. Have we squeezed yet?
Hey, Wonk. Yeah. No, not yet. You've not missed it. I mean, actually, yes, you have missed it. I'm supposed to tell you, yes, you have, while you've been out fighting fires.
Wait, what?
Yeah, his shares were being lent out. He was in the stock lending program, and I'm in possession, so I squeezed for you, dude. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I've got your like 0.01% interest. It's all good.
You're just an airplane. That's all you
Affirmative. Affirmative.
are. Oh man. Hopefully I didn't miss too much.
You've not missed very much. A lot of trading sideways and a good earnings call. They did better than they were projected to do, from what I've gathered. But other than that, no, you've not missed much. How are you?
I actually almost died. But besides that, I feel pretty good to be alive.
Don't do that. Stay safe out there. So for those that don't know, Monk's been out fighting wildfires and doing very honorable work. So we definitely want to keep him safe as much as possible. But yeah, don't run to the fire.
Oh no, the fire ran to me.
Oh shoot. Oh shoot. No, don't.
And
Yeah.
I had to hide under a fire engine. It's pretty epic, to be honest.
Can you say where you're at right now?
Oh yeah, I'm back at my fire station in New Mexico. So
Are you still under the fire truck? It's imperative to know this.
I'm so traumatized. I'm still under the fire truck. I'm just gonna stay here. Like I'm like Patrick.
This is a safe space. Don't worry. It's a safe space.
Exactly. No one can enter it unless I say so. Especially no fires.
Gosh, no, So are you done finally, or are you just on break right now?
No, I actually have 1 more month left. So we get laid off on September 11th or the 17th.
Oh,
I'm excited.
I was gonna say we look forward to you being back for more podcasts and information, because we have a lot of data to run through.
Did you
know.
Get laid off?
Oh yeah. So I guess I can explain it, even though this has nothing to do with stock market stuff. Real quick. For those that don't know, wildfires are usually during summer, right? So it's a seasonal job actually. So a lot of wildland firefighters get laid off after the season. So they get unemployment just to survive after. And for me, I'm known as a hotshot, so it's a pretty badass label actually. It's like you're full on in front of the fires, trying to stop it. So it's probably one of the most dangerous types of firefighting, and I only get $14 an hour.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
So there's a lot of politics right now in terms of trying to raise our wage and just wildland firefighters' wages, because it's very, very broken.
But this is also, I will lighten it just a little bit. When Monk and I met, he was off duty at that point, and we had a nice little joke that he was using government money to kind of beat against them because he was on unemployment. He was like, you know what? The government's going to make me rich because I'm just using their money to put into the stock market, and then I'll never have to do this again. So it was a good
That's the millennial way.
So yeah, it
That's
was.
how millennials get rich now.
Yeah, sadly. And this was also back when like all the stimulus checks were going out and all this other stuff. So he was just like, you know what? We'll make the government work for us. It's okay.
I miss the stimmy checks.
Yeah,
I mean,
Go ahead.
I mean, just like taxes, it's just like, for example, taxes. You're giving a government a free ¿cómo se dice? Non-interest loan, you know? So why not? Why not get your unemployment and make yourself rich? Cute. Yeah. That's my.
If you're getting a giant refund at the end of the year, you need to adjust your withholding, my friend, so you're not giving them an interest-free loan for the year.
You want to talk to my wife about that? I've been trying to tell her that for the last 10 years.
I can put her in touch with either of my brothers who are CPAs. I can't dispense tax advice, but I would be happy to. But then inadvertently, I may become your wife's boyfriend. Just putting that out there. So.
That's all right, you know. I mean, as long as you start paying for something, I'm okay with that.
It's a pilot thing. It's a pilot thing with a uniform. I can't explain it.
What'd you say, existent?
So what happens when your wife wants the refund? She wants you to put money in all year so that she can get the big check.
That's why she does it. It doesn't make any sense to me. She loves it. She loves the
What if
refund.
you don't even have a wife?
Is the refund equal to or greater than the cost of a divorce? I mean, there's your answer right there.
Good point. I never thought about that.
I'm going to take the refund all day long.
Good God, this just took a weird turn. Hey, Space Ape, what's going on?
Not much. I actually just saw that Monk was here, and I had to come in and say a ga 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 ga.
Oh God! Wait,
Far
no, I'm
too
not
long,
Mr.
man.
Krabs. I'm not Mr. Krabs. Damn it!
Oh no,
Did
of
not.
course not. Of course not.
God, I forgot. This was a trick.
He got you. He finally
Jesus.
exposed you.
Oh my God.
We've been what, 8 months or so, and someone finally exposed you.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I'm
Still with
doing
us,
this
man.
in like live television. Like someone just
Punked. You're
Like-
this is punked. I'm sorry.
that's what it feels like. Came in just to get exposed. Ah,
Aren't you so
good
happy? So for those, I feel like I'm trying to catch everybody up here. So Monk does have an alter ego, and he uses his alter ego to mess with a lot of people. So if you hear a similar voice with a different name, you'll know exactly what we're talking about at this point. That's what is now being brought to light after 8 months.
You're deep fucking value, aren't you?
Maybe.
Would he be out getting $14 an hour to fight wildfires if he was DFE?
Wait, did I just? Are we gonna appear in an episode of Catfish now? I feel that's the direction this is heading. Is Neil like at the door? Or is Neve
I
at the
feel-
door? Like where are the cameras?
What I feel like right now is like I feel naked. How could you do this, Space Ape?
Sorry, I thought everybody knew.
Oh no!
And-
I had to be silenced back in February when I figured it out, and I was like, wait, that's the same person, and this is before me and Monk were actually friends. He was actually trolling me for like a good month with random things.
In my defense, all I said was ga 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 ga. You guys took it from there.
Jesus. God.
Way to go, Monk.
Can we just go back to stocks now?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's gonna enjoy this little brief, fun time. So that's the other thing, guys. Like, I'm gonna bring the podcast to more of a fun light. Like, yeah, we're gonna have our series. Like, we're gonna dive into the markets and the economy and all this other stuff. And but I do want to keep it light because, we are going to be in this for the long haul. Like, from what I'm seeing with, different economic standings, so like your real estate, commodities, everything I talk about, um, we're in this for the long haul. Like, BullHouse isn't going anywhere, so we're gonna have podcasts where we're kind of silly and just relaxed. Like, I feel like that's going to be something that needs to be kind of happening once in a while. And this is why I do like a nice live audience with the Discord or the Twitter space. This gets more voices out and more like a breath of fresh air into the podcast too. So you guys aren't just listening to me ramble on or Citadel Air or whoever. We can have fun, right? Like, because for some reason I have somehow brought on this role of everybody thinking I'm always serious. I kid you not. For those that don't know, I hop into Twitter Spaces and everyone stops laughing and talking and having a good time, and they're like, "Oh, Ken isn't here. What do you have for us? Like, it's time to be serious. It's time to learn." No, guys, I really want to have fun sometimes. Like, I do like to laugh and joke around. So, um, we're gonna start doing this a little bit more.
It's
Like,
true. I've seen it, guys. I've seen it.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, if this is what you guys, I mean,
Ever mom.
oh, shush you. I mean, if you guys are liking it, if everyone on the YouTube and then the Discord, if you guys are enjoying like more of the lightheartedness, like we can just talk and everything, whatever. Um, yeah, we can definitely do it this way. Um, Johnny, I like the BullHouse. Is this on Spaces too? Yeah, we are starting to do. We're gonna be doing 4 days a week. So 2 days on Discord, 2 days on Spaces, on Twitter Spaces, and broadcasting on YouTube, both the Twitter space and the Discord, just different platforms. So we can really, reach as many people as we can, right? And get more voices out, more voices heard, because like I said earlier, I'm one person, Citadel is one person, Monk's one person. But if we can combine 3, 4, 500 people, that kind of have an inkling of an idea of what's going on, because not everybody knows what's going on, uh, we might have a fighting chance. Like, we really might have a fighting chance to understand the market in itself, because it is rigged against us. We know this, right? Like, we can all kind of agree that it's totally works against us every day of our lives. And so, um, if we can,
Technically, I'm two people.
I mean, technically, but one brain.
And,
So I don't know
and
if that's good or not.
I was gonna say, and also I kind of alluded to earlier, the BullHouse. We really want to be open to a lot more ideas and not be really locked into specifically an AMC or GME or any specific cryptos. We really want it to be a kind of a learning platform that everyone can kind of come in and ask questions and bring ideas and really be able to have the discussions to, sometimes you bring an idea and it might sound like a really good idea to you, and then somebody else might bring a couple more points and might make you think, well, maybe it's not such a good idea, or vice versa. A bad idea starts with and then becomes an excellent idea.
I mean, with like Tyson. Tyson is a perfect example. Like, he brought meta to the group. Granted, I'm pretty sure most of us are like, oh God, at this very moment. But, he brought meta materials, Torchlight, that whole, I mean, just the learning behind it was great. Because we were getting to experience something that has really never happened. And if it does happen, it doesn't happen often. And so, for those that aren't aware, Torchlight did a reverse merger with Meta, who is a Canadian company, and they got their first. They were the first IPO of their type, the Meta Materials, on the Nasdaq. And what added into the messed upness of it was that they did a reverse split with a preferred share dividend. Like, it was this whole big mess that, I mean, we had our entire community trying to figure out what the play was, how we play this, what's going on. And so we're still learning it. Like, it was one of the best educational experiences that all of us could have ever done, because it kind of prepares us for what GameStop might do with NFTs, or if AMC is offering a crypto dividend or something. It prepares us for that, so that we actually know what to look for. So, and Tyson was like, I don't know. I've been following it since last year. This is what I'm seeing. And, it also helped teach people how to do DD. That is another big thing that we're trying to do at BullHouse, is that we want to do as the best service we can in the sense of teaching people how to research and read SEC files and different company files and offerings and whatever we need to look up to see if a stock is actually worth getting into. Like I said, some of us are in a very precarious situation with Meta, and we're just waiting for it to actually go. But it is a very shorted stock, but they have, great technologies and things like that. And so, we as a collective group said, yeah, if you want to get into it, what we see, what we're looking at, it doesn't seem like a bad investment. And that was it was brilliant. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I appreciate everyone that helped with that research and everything. And I'm still researching this company and trying to figure out, because they just bought a nano company. I don't know if everyone heard that.
Yeah, I saw that in one of their releases. And I know Tyson's not here, but I wanted to thank him for the whole Meta experience, because it is the only thing that has made me feel better after I bought in the Coin IPO. Meta has made me feel so much better about that decision to buy the Coin IPO. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Oh, I mean, you can dive into that, because I don't know why that would make you feel better. I'm genuinely curious.
My position on the coin, I don't share my positions, but my Coin IPO, I mean, I'm going to be holding that for a while to recoup that, recoup some of those.
I understand.
I'm more in the hole there than I am in Meta. So Meta made me feel so much better and forget about coin. It was.
That's awesome. That is so funny. But yeah, so that's, and it's the other thing, we encourage various investments, I guess I could say. Most of us do hold GameStop or AMC. For those that are new here that have never watched us or anything like that, the vast majority of our community is GameStop and AMC or one or the other. But people are, they're holding their stock, but they also want to try to make some money on the side with whatever little spare cash they do have, to try to, and I think the vast majority of people in here are waiting, that are in Meta or Verb or whatever else, they're waiting for those to moon, because they are not, at least in my opinion, not financial advice, whatever we have to say, but it won't be as high as AMC and GME, right? Like it's just AMC, GME, those are two massive plays, right? And so most people, they're hoping, at least I am, I know I am, I'm sure most of the staff is, we're holding those to the moon to be able to buy back into GameStop or AMC. And that's just playing the game. It's taking investments, throwing it into something else that you really feel passionate about. Some people are flipping cryptos to buy AMC. That's what I did with Doge. I flipped Doge a few hundred times earlier in the year and was able to do a nice buy-in for AMC and GME. Flip some of my portfolio and everything. So yeah, I mean, it's what we're trying to do. We're, the financial literacy part of the stock market, and just trying to learn how to play the game, because that's all we can do, right?
I have a question. Sorry. Kind of going into real estate. Did we see anything with real estate inverses or housing? Anything with housing react to the how do you say it, moratorium? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, or you can just say the forbearances.
Yeah.
Well, I do know that real estate is starting to go down. The costs and everything, the price action, they're starting to go down. Houses are sitting on the market in some areas. This does not apply to every area, okay? Not every area is seeing it in abundance, but some housing markets are starting to keep supply on, and they're not being bought in 12 hours or some goofiness. But the real estate market, from what I see, is starting to go down, but because of the extension that Biden's trying to let the CDC do, we could see the can kick down even further. Tuda Moon, I know this is one of your areas of expertise, so if you want to go ahead.
So, by and large, and I got to be careful I don't talk too loud because apparently that screws up the audio. So, by and large, credit is starting to tighten. It has been sort of regional, but it looks like the nation is starting to tighten their credit. California appears to be further in the worse shape than the rest of the country as far as their housing market. People are starting to pull away from buying in California. I know a couple of people in the banking business, and I sort of trying to have casual conversations with them. One of them is Wells Fargo, and they have got a pretty big exposure to this mortgage forbearance. Now, when I tell you they got a big exposure, that doesn't mean everything's going to go into foreclosure, but they are scared to death about how this mortgage forbearance is going to come down on them. As far as, if it's 30% of our exposure, we got major problems. And so there's a lot of sort of hand wringing by the banking industry of, well, we don't know who's going to be able to catch up and who isn't because the rules are so sloppy. Some people have got the money, they just don't want to give it to the banks, and the banks are pissed off about that. Other people don't have the money, and the banks aren't going to be able to get it out of them. And so it sort of becomes, okay, if this starts going into the foreclosure cycle, they're probably going to be screwed for a couple more years because it's going to be another repeat of the 2006 market where they just sort of made foreclosures drag out for years and years. And then you got the situation where people are going to play that whole angle and go, look, if I can stay in this house for 2 years, I don't have to make any payments to anybody for 2 years. And that pisses everybody off. And so there's a lot of uncertainty that this forbearance is sort of kicking the can down the road is a good way of putting it, because when it starts to trickle, it's going to become a raging very rapidly, is the general consensus. It'll be a tsunami of foreclosures.
Yeah, and that's if you guys refer back to some of my DD about the real estate market, is actually the definition of a real estate bubble bust. Is that we see that trend of housing costs being escalated. So we saw that 30-40% over asking. That's ridiculous. Interest rates, they are starting to go up. Yes, 3% is still great. But they're starting to climb. We're starting to see it with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Like their interest rates are starting to go up, and the supply was very low. And so what ends up happening with a bubble burst, when the bubble actually busts, is when there is an influx of homes on the market that the market cannot stabilize. Like that means the supply is way higher than the demand, and if we have this influx of foreclosures, you figure you have landlords that might be wanting to sell their properties because they're upside down or whatever. They just can't afford it. People, because rent is going out through the roof. People can't afford rent. Here in Tampa Bay, it is one of the fastest increasing in rent prices by far in the country. And so, people aren't going to be able to afford these rent prices. So, these landlords probably aren't going to want to keep their properties. So they're going to sell those off, or they're going to foreclose on them because they haven't been paying their mortgages because people haven't been paying their rent. So that's a whole big to do. Plus you have the regular people that own homes. If they are in foreclosure, it's just going to be a swarm of houses, and that would literally be the bubble busting.
Yeah, as to landlords and their properties, their biggest complaint has been you're helping the tenants and you're helping the homeowners, but poor landlords, we don't have a snowball's chance in hell of surviving this if we're little. So apparently they've sort of organized, I don't want to say it's a legal action, but they've apparently organized some sort of a lobbying organization that is trying to apply some pressure on the government to say, look, rather than pay the tenants back rent, pay it straight to our mortgage companies. And in other words, just go from, okay, if you've been on rent moratorium, when you end it, just make the payment straight to the bank. And that way the bank doesn't have to negotiate with the homeowners, and the homeowners don't have to negotiate with the tenants, and they just sort of feel like that'll be a cleaner process. And, honestly, a lot of landlords, they max out they leverage these properties as much as they can. And look, you can agree or disagree. That's just a strategy that they use. And so now they're over leveraged and they don't have any cushion to get them through 6 months, let alone 18 months. And so, that foreclosure is probably going to be in the form of they'll wholesale out, the banks will take in 3,000 properties at a time and wholesale them all out for a nickel on the dollar just to dump that stuff. And that'll really hurt the commercial market for a long time.
Yeah, it's not a good situation we're in, and I think that's what makes me sad.
I think I told you a couple of weeks ago, I just sort of made a general conversation. I don't know what everybody's age group is and their financial situation, but as you accumulate wealth, people learn how to find you. And just coincidentally, I had a text out of the blue this morning from a number I have no clue, but they got my number, which is totally unlisted. And they specifically said, you have these two properties we're interested in purchasing for cash right now. Now I'm like, I have no mortgage. How do they find this stuff? I'm kind of like, all right, you guys found. I didn't even respond because if you respond, then you acknowledge that you know that they're there. But that's the other thing that's going to start happening is they're going to start corrupting the banks and the credit for anybody that's got any assets that they can figure out how to do deals with. I'm not going to be surprised if BlackRock is behind a lot of these companies that are going out across the country trying to suck up all these houses while they still can before credit becomes harder and harder for people. But I was just a little astonished today when I get it out of the blue, and I have more than a couple of properties, but they had two specific properties. I'm like, all right, somebody did some freaking work to track me down. And now I'm kind of like, all right, why are they so interested in those particular properties? And it's because they are still relatively untouched by the market fluctuations. I've got some pretty stable pieces of property because I'm not in the over leveraged Californias and some of the people that have been making loans on houses that are stupid, crazy expensive. They're starting to pull away from those and they're going back to the breadbasket houses, the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, stable priced houses are the ones they're going to try and grab a hold of quick before everybody else figures that out.
I can't answer as to why they specifically targeted you and your properties, but if you own property, you're in public record, and if they can get your name, they can get your phone number. I have a $25 per month service that I can enter in your address, I can get your name, I can get your phone number. It's really simple now, so that's not that surprising to me that they're. But the reason why they targeted you, I couldn't answer why they went after your two properties.
Well, I think the point I was trying to sort of touch on a couple of weeks ago with folks is, I don't know what kind of play this is for y'all economically, but assume you need to start protecting yourself when these things go to the moon because you'll become a target of somebody that's got some cash that probably, can be influenced into, we'd like to interest you in some swampland in Arizona, kind of a thing. They're a lot smarter than you give them credit for. And I can't remember where I saw this or read it or something, but like when let's say AMC or GME, whatever you're in, when it moons, until you get the money in your bank account, the battle ain't over with yet. They're going to come up with every excuse in the world as to why, well, hold on, you might want to reinvest here, or, they're going to try and shuck and jive you out of your money any way they can. So just kind of keep that in mind.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's creepy. I'm sorry, that's just creepy. But even Chef Hills, same thing happened to me, To the Moon. I literally told them I'd answer the question if they told me how they got my info. Offered to buy my house. They just use generic people finder services. And David Scott says, in my county, all property tax records are publicly available. Free service through the county shows loan statuses.
And yes, I agree with all that, but I kind of go out of my way to, my phone number is unlisted. I don't leave that much of a digital footprint. Yes, I know real estate can be tracked down to individual names, And that's, I will advise people to try and buy your real estate and corporate names if you can to keep that shield to protect you. Because once they get your personal information, it sort of becomes, what else do they know that I'll discover at the wrong time.
I agree.
And I'll have a pretty decent dossier of who you are and where you've lived, and I can get you some pretty ridiculous information within 10-15 minutes time.
Yeah, I was going to say most people are aware of the big major credit bureaus, but there's another one that a lot of people aren't aware of called Lexisnexis. Lexisnexis has insane amount of data on most people, and they get data from insurance claims, they get data from property ownership. But Lexisnexis, if you ever look to pull reports from them, you'll get an insane amount of information about yourself.
Right. So all that data mining is out there, but as you guys probably know, you get in different categories of you're more desirable. Like if I own a piece of property that's worth $450,000 and I owe 465, you're not going to get too many phone calls, except maybe you do want to refinance kind of a thing. So I just sort of, it sort of made me think about it this morning. I thought, I'm going to have to let Kenna know, because out of the blue, they're like, 2 specific properties. They want to make a deal. I'm like, okay, somehow you guys found my number, because it's not on any of my mortgages. I make it a point to make sure that none of my, contact information is on a mortgage. But anyway, yes, if you're a private investigator, you can certainly make progress with it. But there are companies that's how they make their living, is buying and selling this information.
Yeah, that's with like I mentioned, LexisNexis. There's a lot of businesses out there that they will go to them and say, I need to find property owners in this area that have less than a 80% LTV on loan to value on their properties, right? And they get a list from them.
Right.
Well, aren't there certain states and like DMVs that also can sell your information as well?
Yep.
So even the state you live in was a victim of identity theft years ago, and very hard to keep that information private. But I mean, when your own state is working against you, when your own DMV is selling your information, pennies on the dollar, put on lists. I mean,
It's rule of thumb: don't buy a house, don't get married, don't get a driver's license. It's if you want to stay off the grid, it's pretty bad. All that stuff, anything is like that's public record.
I generally live in the pretense that I keep my information as private as I can, but assume that everything that you're keeping private, you're in a database somewhere. It is known. It's just hopefully not known by the people that are going to abuse it.
Right. Well, everything is for sale too, and that's the other part. When these banks start losing, how do I want to say it? The large banks, they're trying to squeeze a dollar any way they can find it. So I wouldn't trust any of them to not sell my information to the highest bidder.
I appreciate all the knowledge, guys. So yeah, this feeds into everything I've said, after the moass, before the moass or whatever. Just keep yourself safe. Don't draw attention to yourself. The whole, win Lambo and all that other stuff, guys. Like, just don't put, AMC to the moon on your license plate. Don't put anything about GameStop or anything to do with what we're in right now, because it just draws attention to you. And, don't go out and like brag about it to just random people. Just stay calm, do what you need to do, and take care of what you need to, and just live as normal as you can. I mean, obviously, if you want to go spend on lavish things or whatever, yeah, fine, but do it conspicuously, I guess I could say. Because you're just gonna put a target on your back, and that's we've talked about the lottery winners, people that come into money very quickly, and they flaunt it and everything, and most of them either commit suicide, or they are killed because of what's in their bank or whatever you have. Just stay safe. That's all I have.
And the thing with winning a lottery, it's like when you win a lottery, you're winning it, and you're taking that money, and you're taking it from a pool that's been put together by whatever lottery it is you're winning, and the case of the moass, who are you taking that from? And those people that you're taking it from are going to be pissed.
Yep.
They're going to come after you, and they're not going to stop because you just took, if their livelihoods, you just took away their money, and you think they're just going to go, well, we deserved it. They can take it. Let them have fun with it. No, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. So, you got to protect yourself and always look over your shoulder and come up with a plan on how you're going to, I won't say hide the money, but just make it so that you don't have the money and you don't tell anyone you have the money, and you just take all the necessary steps to protect yourself.
So no AMC parties.
I would not
Man, you guys
advise
are-
it. I don't. I'm so
You guys-
sketched out by
You're
that.
buzz killing me right now.
I am so
Just joking.
sketched out with that. I've actually been asked if I'd go to these big get-togethers, and I'm like, nope,
After the squeeze, absolutely I will.
nope.
Nope.
You're not going to go to the Ape Fest?
No, I mean, okay, think about that. Okay, think about this, guys. We're literally sitting here talking about protect yourself, after moass, people are gonna know you have money, and then everyone's like, hey, all the apes that were in AMC and GME, let's gather in one place.
I'll join in the celebration after the squeeze. I'm not afraid.
Exactly. After
There's a,
the
there's a,
squeeze, I'll go.
even after the squeeze, there's a lot more people in this world that have more money than I do.
Yep.
There certainly will be people looking to take advantage of anybody that has money, but there will be a lot bigger targets than me.
I'll celebrate after the housing market crashes, and once I have my attendees, I'll be buying the houses, and I'll have the party in my mansion.
Okay, well that might be okay.
That's a good plan.
Yeah, that's private property, so then you get trespassing and breaking and entering and everything else. So yeah,
I'm selling all my shares when they hit 500 a share.
sounds like a plan.
I like
Just
that.
kidding. Well, and that's literally what I say, guys, is that, everyone asked, when am I selling? Okay, well, literally the way down. Because if you people detect liars. Lying is something that can easily be detected. And, if you sell on the way down, whether it's $5, $10, $500, whatever goofy price you sell on the way down, if someone asks you, hey, I knew you were in AMC, I knew you were in GME, did you get it? And you're like, no, I saw on the way down, I missed the peak. Darn. They don't have to know it was only $5 past the peak or $100 past the peak, whatever it is, but you saw on the way down, you missed the peak. And that's okay. It is okay to miss the peak of a moass. My opinion.
I'm going to be a Dave Portnoy paper-handed bitch.
God damn it. Lord, okay. On that note, do we have any other I'll watch the ape party streamed on the Bull. Yeah, the BullHouse will not be we'll host a virtual party. BullHouse will host a virtual party where we can all stay in our jammies in our comfy new homes and stay safe drinking in our houses so we're not out gallivanting around the wherever. I'm cool with that. I'll definitely do that. I'll set that up.
Can I do a question?
It's good.
Yeah, what's up?
Who's Gary Gensler?
Not a friend, I don't think.
Isn't
was
he that one guy that kind of, he's kind of sits around some sort of position. I don't know.
I only know his workhorse.
I mean, I think he's supposed to be someone that does something, but I see nothing being done. So it's a ghost to me right now.
Even Portnoy doesn't know
Looks
who
like
he
a
is.
man.
So I'm really eager to find out who this individual is.
Be careful what you ask for. He seems like he wants to do all kinds of stuff with crypto.
I thought he was Renzel.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. We have definitely gone over time today, which I've definitely appreciated this. It's nice to be at our regular time. Yes, Bobby. Yes, we were joking. We know who Gary Gensler is, guys. But yeah, I definitely appreciate being back at our normal time in our Discord, being able to just hang out and whatnot. It's been a good night, and I appreciate it. And everyone that's hopped up here, Citadel, Wombat, To the Moon, Space Ape, everyone that's hopped up here, Monk. I'm glad you're safe and not dead under a fire truck. That's weird. I appreciate it, and we will see you guys again on Wednesday at 10 p.m. for BAM Investor. For anyone in YouTube or in the Discord, if you guys have questions you want us to ask him, please do not hesitate to send us those questions. We are going to we're trying to get a pool together, and we're going to pick some of the best questions out of there to ask him. Don't be derogatory. I want to use this time to kind of really get some great information. I mean, if it is something that you're legitimately concerned about, cool. But I really want to get those questions to him, and we're going to have him on Wednesday. Citadel Air will be running that one, which I think will be fun because he hasn't gotten to run one yet, so that'll be fun.
Oh, good times
I'm
will
going
be
to ask
had.
him who's Gary Gensler.
I may ask that question actually. Inquiring minds want to know. And just to clarify, it's 10 p.m. Eastern for anyone else that's
I mean,
elsewhere.
is there any other time
the
zone?
ether of whereas, not to my knowledge.
Yeah, some of us are Pacific here.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one time zone that's Eastern. Everyone else just lives on weird times. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. No, I'm just kidding, guys. This comes from someone that lived in Hawaii, so I understand different time zones. But yeah, BG, I appreciate you coming in. I hope you don't miss another one. If you are new here, go check out some of our other podcasts. We've had Dr. Trimbath on twice. We had Dave Lauer on last week. We've had the Ape Doc brothers, Finley and Quinn. That was a fun interview. I never shut up usually, so there's plenty to go watch. This past weekend we did 2 GME ones. If you're on GME, they did a wealth of information covering that. So yeah, we're covering it all, guys, and I appreciate everyone being here.
And if you ever want to see Kenna get really giggly, join in on the Trim Bath. Dr. Trim Bath.
Oh, stop.
Sorry, I didn't make it live to that one, but I did watch it.
Hey, she is a beast in her own merit. She is phenomenal. So
Did you have a girl crush moment that I wasn't aware of?
I fangirled a little bit. I mean, it's she's very just out of this world. I just want to go and scope through her brain for a little bit because it's just amazing. So yeah.
Well, I have her address now that she sent me that stuff in the mail. Like she creeped on me and got my address through her publisher and sent me that stuff. So I'll send you some of that stuff she sent me. It's fucking incredible.
Oh jeez, yeah, no, I totally fangirled and called myself out on the podcast saying, "Yep, I'm sorry."
That's awesome.
It's okay, whatever. Not my proudest moment, but it's okay. I will do better. But yeah, all right, guys, we will see you around.